All right. Hello and welcome to today's episode where I'm going to talk about the importance of having group and community on your journey to recovery and why most people disregard it, most people overlook it, and why it actually is probably one of the reasons that a lot of people don't actually achieve success. And it's not going to be really for the reasons that you may think. Before we dive into the show, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Matt Codde. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and the founder of Restored Minds. And if you're looking for help on your journey to recovery from OCD, anxiety, fear, chronic pain, I have some links down in the notes for you to get started. You can also head over to restoredminds.com and start with the resources there as well. And if you benefit from the show, please help us out by liking and subscribing. So let's dive into the topic of today with group and community. So a lot of people, they have a very big aversion to group. Now me, when I was first seeking help, I didn't even know what I was going through, right? So I was trying to find help in any place I could. Finally, and for those that know my journey, it was the random volunteer that told me, hey, I think you're dealing with like OCD, and I didn't even know what that was. And after some research, I found an OCD support group. And the support group was really the first place that I actually felt like, okay, there's people understand what I'm experiencing, right? And there's other people that are experiencing, and more importantly, there's people that have gotten better. So it was a sense of, okay, I finally feel like I'm in the right place. Because for a long time, you're struggling and you're seeking help, and you just feel like no one really understands what I'm going through. No one hears me clearly, and I'm not communicating, and I'm more importantly not getting the right guidance or results. So the support group was really the main support system I had, and it was a group that met once a week. I went to the group, and oftentimes I would get a little bit of time to share. Sometimes you wouldn't share. It just depends, because there was a big group of us. So, but the benefit of the group was not the sharing or even the asking questions. It was all the unspoken, right? It was the idea that people understood me. And I felt like, okay, this was like a place where there was a commonality. But the benefit of group goes even beyond that. The benefit of group was the only place that I ever really got an objective view of OCD, anxiety, and fear. Because what most people do is they go to a one-on-one, coach, therapist, whatever, and they stay in this subjective experience. So the emotion that they're experiencing and the thoughts and the content and the theme that they have are always being clouded by this subjective experience. And with group was the first time that I looked at someone who was talking, and clearly they were experiencing the same fear. And, in many ways, fear creates a certain level of delusion where you're not seeing reality like everyone else is. And so I'm listening to this person, and they're talking about their fear, and I have no fear on that particular topic or connected to that particular topic. And I was able to see the whole thing objectively, and it was so obvious what that person needed to do to get better because I had no emotion in it. And that is the benefit. That is one of the major benefits that group provides. Is it gives you the ability to see behind the curtain, to say, oh, okay, because when someone talks about a fear that you don't share, it's so obvious to you that it's fear, number one, and number two, what they need to do. And it was they had this weird epiphany moment, I remember in group one day, where I was sitting there and I was like, I wonder if people think that I am seeing the world this distorted as the way I think this person is seeing the world this distorted, to put it simply, I wonder if people think that I'm seeing the world as crazy as I think that this person is seeing the world that way. You know what I mean? Because I was the person was explaining their fear, and there was absolutely no reasoning to it. There was no logic behind it. It was 100% obvious this was fear, and it was 100% obvious if the person did, these steps, that they would get better. And it was like this aha moment where I'm like, I bet you the person sees me the same way. And that's the beautiful thing about group, and why in my program, Taking Back Control, which is all online, why group is it, you have to be involved in group in some capacity. Even if you're working with them one-on-one, there's always group as part of the intervention, because it's not that you're going to gain some crazy insight from talking about your fear in group. It's a matter of the being able to finally see this objectively, and that only happens from listening to someone else, because you remove the subjective experience of it. And that's the main benefit that I believe group provides, in conjunction with feeling heard and understood, which puts you a little bit more at ease as well and helps you trust the process. And then also seeing people that are in different stages of their journey than you. So this is why I don't run nor really believe in the cohort model, because like where everyone starts at the same place, because there's a huge benefit of being able to talk to people that are further down the road, because it gives you hope. And then there's also, as you go on your journey, there's a huge benefit to talking to people that are just starting their journey, because it allows you to see your own progress objectively. And it's not really about comparing good or bad. It's just about allowing the subjective and objective to change, or to be able to step into one another. So this is why community and group, in my opinion, is a must-have. And I know that so many people love to go that lone wolf route. I'm going to do this all on my own. I did that for a long time. I didn't really have an option at a certain point with group. I was like, this is the only thing that I can do, right? So it was just like I had to swallow my own pride and say, okay, this is what I'm going to go. Because obviously with the lone wolf route, if you haven't gotten yourself where you want to go by now, most likely you ain't going to get there. It's just the reality. If you've been working at this on your own for years and you're not there, chances are you don't know the way, right? It's just what it is. And you can convince yourself, if I just keep working and keep going, you'll get there. And maybe that's true. But there's also the flip side of maybe that's not true, because you don't know what you don't know. And group and community, again, provide that objectiveness that you can't get anywhere else, to my knowledge, because you really are able to see it in someone else so clearly. Now, one of the things that I hear and pushbacks I hear about group is, well, yeah, but I'm in a, someone might talk and it might trigger me. And the thing you need to understand is, like, that's great. What a better place for that to happen than group, because you don't want to create, nor should you attempt to create a world that you're wrapped in bubble paper and that you can't get triggered. Your triggers are an indication of these patterns of emotion that come up with certain words or certain situations. And you are so much better served learning to confront triggers and to face them and release the energy behind them than to create a world that, quote unquote, you don't get triggered. Because when you do that, you're going to create a small world, and that world is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, to the point where leaving your house doesn't feel safe, to the point where it's hard to just get ready in the morning, or to the point where I can't leave my house, right? When you understand that the real problem with fear is that it shrinks your life capacity down, you understand that the reason that we face fear is not just for the sake of facing it, is because we expand and we open up doors and possibilities in our lives that were previously unavailable. That's why I believe in what I do so much, and why Restored Minds exists, why this show exists, right? All of that is because fear is a very powerful force. And if it runs our lives, it prevents us from living. We are merely surviving at a certain point. And anyone that's lived in that cycle of fear can attest that there's a very big difference in then surviving and living. And group and community, if you don't have that on your journey, you should seek that. Now, obviously, one great place that I would recommend is Restored Minds and TBC. But if there's a place that you prefer better, great, go for that. Without community, you're going to consistently work at this from the subjective experience, and that comes with certain limiting beliefs and blocks that you are unaware of because it's subjective. And I just think And it's not that you can't obviously do one-on-one and there's not other facets of this. I'm not saying this is the only thing. I'm saying this aspect must be part of your plan. And if it's not, I'd encourage you to find out how to make it part of your plan, because that is one of the things that I've been, the most feedback I've gotten is from people I've worked with, people that have come through the program, is how transformational being in a community was. And so with that said, I hope this was helpful. Hope you see the benefit of what I'm saying today. And yeah, with that, I wish you a wonderful week, a great day. And I wish you all the best on your journey. And like I said, if you're looking for support and guidance and you're interested in community, click the links in the notes or head over to Restored Minds and fill out an application. And with that, I will see you on the next episode. Hey there. So if you enjoyed that video, we've linked up a few more videos that we think you'd find helpful as well. And if you have found this helpful, we'd really appreciate your support by liking and subscribing. And if you're looking for help and guidance, please check out restoredminds.com, as we have several options for you to get started. See you guys soon.